WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
I can't believe I'm putting my voice to this.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
Thank you for your irrelevant opinion.
And now, here's your host of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon.
The first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say. I'm a broadcast journalist. I have a right to my opinion.
Oh, son of a...
I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even in commentary.
There's the sound of the bell, and we are off. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. I'm your host, Fearon, along with a litany of folks here in the studio. Of course, we've got Lucas the Intern doing his thing as usual. Nick Cataldi, he's in the back. I'm actually here running the board, kind of directing things here because, as I said, we have a litany of guests here, including Cory Kastle, good friend of the show, back on the program. Good to have you here.
Hey, thanks for being here. Oh, thanks for inviting me.
No problem. Yeah, no, you're good. You just we're borrowing microphones here. We're sharing here. We've got more microphones or more people than we do microphones, so we're just kind of passing things around a little bit. Lucas, how's it that you have a microphone and the guest doesn't? Come on, pass them on here. What are you doing?
I don't know what to do.
You don't know?
That's
why you're an intern. Yeah, you still have a lot of learning to do.
This is my doing the actual intern stuff.
During the actual intern stuff, exactly. It's more than just talking wrestling, see? This is where you actually have important things to do. But, yes, Cory Kastle with me. Anthony Bruno back on the show from Wrestling with Disaster.
Yep, thanks for having us.
And, of course, that music can only mean one thing. The Pitbull, Gary Wolfe.
That's right, baby. It's Pitbull 1.
Pitbull 1.
Gary Wolfe, the original.
The original. Well, yeah, there's so many different ways you can go with the nickname. I didn't know which one to go. I just figured the Pitbull would work. But yes, one half of the Pitbulls.
I don't expect you to say a whole paragraph when you say my name.
I mean, no gimmick, no introductions needed. But,
exactly.
But absolutely, it's great to have you here. I mean, where to start? I mean, well, first of all, I guess we'll start with the Wrestling with Disaster. We'll talk a little bit about that. How's things going since the last time you've been here on the program?
Sure, everything's going really good with Wrestling with Disaster. We are about 3 shoots left before we finish.
Okay.
We're doing a lot of editing and archiving right now because our shoots are so spread out through the next few months. We have a lot of, I wouldn't say downtime, but time to where we don't have to, where we could focus on the things that are most important, like, you know, the editing and making sure that this film is really polished, you know. But yeah, with 3 shoots left, we're looking at the end of spring, early summer, and this is going to be a great documentary.
Definitely looking forward to it. Now, Gary, how did you get involved in all this?
I met Anthony, what was it, over the summertime?
About a year ago.
Yeah, about a year ago, and
This time last year.
Yeah, I met Cory, and they told me about what they were doing. I thought it was interesting, and I wanted to jump on it and be a part of it. I think it's going to be a big success.
Yeah, I've been touting it quite a bit and looking forward to it as well. Man, so many questions. I don't even know where to go. I mean, I guess the first thing that jumps to mind is your career in ECW. I mean, talk a little bit about some of your favorite moments from that, some memorable moments.
ECW was great, especially when Public Enemy was there. You know what I mean? They were really good, tight boys. The difference between the ECW locker room compared to other locker rooms that are out there was that we were all brothers at that time. We all took care of each other. And what we wanted to do is we weren't trying to compete with Vince or WCW, even though they still have all our talent anyway. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, at the time I was going to WCW too. I mean, that's just what happened. But I had a lot of memories. I'll never get them back because I'll never work in a locker room like that. So Paul Heyman was a genius in his way of booking, and it worked. It worked enough where Vince wanted to buy our product, put it that way.
Yeah, and there were quite a few times where he brought you in. You had the invasion in '97, from what I'm recollecting from my teenage years.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the images that jumps out at me, and correct me if I'm misremembering, to use to use an oft-used term. At one point, weren't you in kind of a halo brace?
Yeah, I was wrestling. At the time, I was doing an angle with Shane Douglas. I had a bicep injury, so I had to get that fixed. And I came in to do a run-in while he was wrestling my partner. He DDT'd me on the belt, which broke my neck. So I broke it on a Saturday night, but I didn't know it was broke till Monday. So then
how do you walk around not knowing that you have a broken neck?
I thought you died. I mean, so I didn't think that I had a broken neck. I just knew I was in pain, so I figured I just jammed it. You know what I mean? I go to chiropractor. So when I got to the chiropractor,
mislocate or dislocate something.
Yeah. So when I showed up at the chiropractor's, he was just like, "Go to the hospital," and that's when I found out.
Wow. I don't know. One of the images that jumps out at me from that, I think at one point, I forget who it was. Like I said, I was maybe 15 at the time, so my memory is a little sketchy. But I mean, didn't somebody at one point shake your halo brace like back and forth?
Pitbull 2 was wrestling Shane Douglas. I happened to be ringside with the halo. I attempted to come in, and when I came in, he grabbed the halo and threw me down.
Threw you down to the grave. Yeah, that's what I thought. It like I said, it's kind of etched in the memory a little bit. But I mean, that was also you remember having been there. I just remember watching on, Sports Channel 42 or whatever it was back in the day. I don't know if they switched over to WGTW yet at that point or not. But
it was late. I think it was
late, later at night than I think my parents wanted me awake. It was
like 12 o'clock at night or something like that.
Yeah. That definitely breaks.
So that 6 weeks wearing that halo was like something I wouldn't. Now that I see people with halos, and I've always seen them, I didn't realize what they went through. But wearing that halo for 6 weeks is like you're in a nightmare for 6 weeks.
I could only imagine. I mean, I cringe just thinking back to it. I can't imagine even going through it. And I mean, now, and you're still wrestling now. That's even the more admirable part.
Well, the doctor gave me, first thing I said is, am I going to be able to wrestle again? Before anything, really.
Yeah, that's the first thing that goes through your mind.
He said 6 months, you'll be fine. You got to wear that for 6 weeks, and then you got to build your body back up. So I actually gave myself an extra 2 months, so just to be on the safe side. So we gave it that 2 months to build the angle with me and Shane because I was coming back, and that's when he would cut those promos. You want to race me? Oh, that's right. You can't swim. You're paralyzed. So he would he would do all them dirty ones,
like stuff in front of a hospital. I think was one of them. Oh my gosh!
I gotta say,
go ahead, Lucas.
I gotta say, I loved how you guys did the backstage promos with no interview with the microphone. You just stood in front of the camera and talked, and I thought that was awesome because I watch you guys almost every Saturday on WWE Classics before it got taken off. And I just thought it was awesome. And then TNA took it from you, and I'm just like, they're just trying to do ECW again.
There's been a lot of that. There's been a lot of kind of the whole often imitated, never duplicated type thing.
Well, yeah. Well, TNA tried to do they did a pay-per-view. And what they did is bring in a couple guys. They sent a camera crew to Philly for me to cut a promo. And that was their best-selling pay-per-view that they've ever had.
Hardcore Justice, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, they had that. I mean, WWE did it too with One Night Stand back in the mid 2000s.
I was in that one. Yeah, that's when we brought just about every ECW guy in it back, and we went there, did the One Night Stand, and we sold that place out like that. It was crazy.
Yeah, a lot of memories from that. Do you still talk with a lot of these guys? I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, you talk about that family, that kinship. I would imagine that
some of them, a lot of the guys have changed. You know what I mean? So, I could wash my hands with them. Doesn't make a difference to me. People change. So, a lot of guys, they're in WF now or they're in TNA now, and they don't know who you are. But before, it's like I said, Public Enemy, for instance. They'd call me and my partner up and say, look, I got double booked. I got tied up. I can't go to Puerto Rico. Can you go for us? Oh, sure. I'll go make $2,000 in 1 week. I have no problem with that. But nowadays, people aren't like that. So it's the difference.
It's kind of, not to take from Bret Hart, but I'm going to that whole, you scratch my back, I'll stab yours, that kind of deal.
It's very few and far between to find quality people inside the wrestling business.
He said it.
So it's you get lucky sometimes, very, very rarely. And Gary in this case is one of those people as well. So
Well, the fact that we got two in the room here, I mean, let me see if I can hit the Powerball next. So, Anthony, I got the hand signals going in the back here. Anthony, go ahead.
I'm not the wrestler, so I'm just like the oddball out. You know what I mean? Nah. You guys are all sitting here talking.
Well, I mean, quality wrestlers.
We're the wrestlers. He's the
you're the quality producer. I'm the quality radio host. Yeah, I mean, there's quality all over the place here. Quality intern. Yeah.
Quality intern. He screwed up from the get-go. But we'll let it slide, you know.
He's new to this. Yeah,
he's the kid alone.
He's still in high school. He's a high school intern, so he's very young in the developmental process. There's still a lot of time to get him polished.
The one thing though, I share a lot of background knowledge.
He does. For 15, he knows a lot of his history as well as what's going on currently. So I gave that to him from day one talking to him. So
compared to some kids I see now in high school, he's on the right track, put it that way.
Exactly. Well, yeah, he's sticking with me. Of course he's on the right track.
Kids are not like they used to be.
No, that's definitely for sure.
You call it the old soul out of the bunch.
The old soul out of the bunch, exactly. So I know, I think I read both of you guys are going to be actually in a show coming up in a couple of weeks. You want to talk a little bit about that? In that... Or at least you're advertised. At least I thought. Moose's thing at the YMCA?
Oh, no. I think, honestly, I don't even know. I think that show may have been canceled. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
I'm very confused about it as well, so I'm not.
Wow.
I mean, I can't really share any details that I don't know, so.
Okay, then. That's news to me. I mean,
take a little break.
a little bit. Well, I was going to say, I mean... At least as I drove by the YMCA, it was advertising for the 22nd. But I guess.
Okay. Well, they might be having a show. I mean, and I can't say anything bad about the YMCA. They take care of kids.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
You know what I mean, so if they are running a show, God bless them. I'm sure we'll be somewhere else working. It's not a problem.
Replacements. That movie, The Replacements.
The Replacements.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's got like me, you, Nick, and everybody else in the ring.
I was gonna say I don't know if I'm taking bumps. Please, I wouldn't want to do an injustice to what you guys do. I would just make a complete. Not even. I just know I wouldn't do well with it. So leave it to the professionals. That's why they say don't try it at home or frankly anywhere else. I throw in the frankly anywhere else because people try to look for loopholes.
Yeah, that's what...
I can't try it at home. How about at school? No, that's not a good idea either.
No, I don't recommend that to anybody.
That's what my friend did. He would always be a smart aleck about it and be like, oh, we can't do it at home? How about your house? Yeah.
And that's why he's a former friend now, right?
No, he's still my friend.
Okay, you're just wising him up. Fair enough. All right, let's take care of a little bit of business here. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about... all kinds of stuff. We can also we've got room for your calls as well. 215-949-3232, as well as toll free at 888-922-2149. We'll talk a little bit of WWE, a little TNA as well, and we'll get into more about Wrestling with Disaster and more notes and things being learned as we go along here. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon Derry.
I think your intern's Wrestling with Disaster.
Oh, boy, it's going to be one of those shows. I can feel it.
You ain't kidding, Joey Styles. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside Lucas the Intern and guests Cory Kastle, Anthony Bruno of Wrestling with Disaster, and Pitbull 1, Gary Wolfe, former ECW television champion, tag team champion, and just all-around great guy wrestler, too.
Kick ass.
We'll go with that, too. Absolutely. I don't know. I didn't have a finish for that. I was like, all right, former this champion, former that champion, and, crap, I can't come up with a third. I couldn't think of a third thing quick enough, so I was just like, and... gosh darn it, he's a nice guy, too.
Leave it to Pitbull. He'll finish for you.
There we go. Absolutely. Yes, he certainly will. Let's talk a little bit about the movie now. I read one of your posts earlier this week. You've got a special narrator for the movie.
Yeah, it's been something that's been in the works for several months now. Andrew Bernarski If you don't know the name, he was Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Really?
He's been in a lot of films like Batman Returns, The Program, Any Given Sunday. He's just a big guy, usually plays that football type. What happened is, and I'll let Gary explain this a little bit more, but we met him through, or I haven't formally met him, but we've talked to him through Gary. And I'll actually let Gary talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, Andy was a good friend of mine. We actually grew up together going to bodybuilding shows as kids. And then when we turned 18, I didn't see him for a year. And then I used to live with him down the shore in Wildwood when I was teenagers and stuff like that. So at one point, he could have been a professional wrestler. Dick Whirler actually said the day that we were in the ring in Wildwood, we were just never even gotten wrestling yet. And we snuck in the building because Attila's Gym would sponsor the guards for that WWE show. So we snuck in there during the day and we would wrestle around. Of course, we got our asses handed to us because the ring killed us. But I remember Dick Whirley was there and he saw Andy and said, "You're the next Hulk Hogan." But Andy was like us, we were all crippled. We couldn't even walk for 2 weeks. So he's like, "That ain't for me." And next thing you know, Andy moved to Hollywood and Bruce Willis gave him his first gig in Hudson Hawk. And then from there on, he was in Batman. And like Anthony said, now he is the man, Leatherface. And it's good to have him on because I've known him practically my whole life almost. And he's a good guy. And I think bringing that to the movie just installs that, this ain't no normal documentary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely ups it a level. You see guys like Morgan Freeman and, just those powerful voices narrating documentaries and stuff like that. And Andrew Bernarski, he's familiar with the wrestlers. He's not only is he just a monster of a guy, he's got a powerful voice and a very distinct voice, and it's really going to add depth that pretty much no other wrestling documentary has had before, and we're really excited to have that happen. So
it's amazing how just something that simple as a narrator can add or subtract to the quality of a film in general.
Sure. Or of
anything. A film, a documentary, even here on radio.
Yeah, it really broadens the horizon for the documentary. It opens up to a new fan base as well. All the horror fans from, watching him as as Leatherface, and all the sports fans from his football movies. It's just, it really opens up things for the documentary. And it's just it's so amazing how we took this from just a small idea that we had originally. I meet Cory, I meet Gary. A lot of people don't realize that, Gary's associate producer on this. He's been here with me for a year, along with Cory. The three of us, we've been knocking this thing out for over a year now. And, we've taken this to the next level. So it's been a great adventure.
A nice final surge down the home stretch, to use
absolutely.
Horse racing analogy. Because when I think horse racing, I think warmer weather than what we've got now, and we can certainly all use it.
I thought you were going to say, when I think horse racing, I think steroids. When I think steroids, I think wrestling. I thought that was where you're going to go.
No.
You really went there?
No.
Well, we know you're not on steroids, Cory. We know that for sure.
Certainly not.
And if you want to find out for yourself, you can check out Cory Kastle at... I don't know, you got any upcoming appearances?
Cory Kastle on Twitter.
Well, I meant upcoming in-ring appearances. I was trying to get you to pub that way, but that's fine. Yeah, pub the Twitter, pump the. You can go that route too.
He's stuttering at this time, so.
Cory's falling apart on us today. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, sure.
It must be because he's next to the intern. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to start playing Kenny Powers. It's time to cut in, baby.
You're out.
Oh my goodness. All right, now also now I don't know. Do I want to tease this for the next segment, the big announcement, or do you want to just let it out now?
No,
Should I get a drum roll going? I don't know.
We can build it up.
I'm free flowing here. I've got. I mean, all I've got is pretty much talking with you guys and maybe getting into some stuff that's going on TV.
No, we don't need to talk about TV.
We don't need to talk about TV? Yeah.
No.
Exactly. Fans are pissed. That's pretty much where we're at this point.
Put it this way.
Punk's at home, fans are pissed, and Brian's not getting pushed. That's pretty much it.
There you go.
I agree with you. That's not right.
So, I say we stick with what we have going on here because it's much more exciting than what they got going on over there.
It most certainly is.
Absolutely.
Well,
just slop fest over there.
Well, actually, you know what? We'll save the big announcement for a little bit later. Gary, I wanted to ask, and this kind of came up from we were talking earlier about Andrew. Where did that transition from bodybuilding to wrestling go? Like, how did you get started? Talk us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I got started by getting my ass kicked in the ring down the shore that time. But then what happened was I ended up being smart about it. Of course, I went to the Monster Factory.
Yes.
Larry Sharp took me and my partner under his wing. And by, about a year in, I was already touring New Zealand, Australia. And by the early 90s, we were already in Japan.
And now I thought I saw, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because YouTube, well, who knows how factual they are with things. Didn't you and Pitbull too, well, before you were, I guess, officially known as the Pitbulls, didn't you have at least a match that I thought I saw in the World Wrestling Federation?
Oh, we worked for Vince many times.
Okay, yeah. The thing that jumped out, I was just doing like a quick search for, I think it was for your music, actually. One of the things that popped up was a match that you both had with the Hart Foundation from... I want to say sometime in '89. Yep,
and to be honest with you, they wanted to bring us in. So I would have been working for Vince at that young age, at that time. And I was a kid.
Oh, wow.
But, they had it set up, which they were going to put us against the Harts in a WrestleMania for the belts. But at the time, we were working for New Japan, and honestly, I didn't want to be on the road 220 days a year, so... I took the Japan job, and that's what happened with that.
Okay, that... I guess in hindsight, that looked like it was a pretty good decision, I'd say.
Well, back then, nowadays, anybody can go to Japan. They just pay a ticket and they go. When I was going, I'm with the likes of Owen Hart, Chris Benoit, Jericho, Eddie Guerrero. Bam Bam, Vader, Killer Bees, the Samoans. That was our bus. So Lance Storm, most of the guys, Dean Malenko, most of the guys that were in ECW, they came from Japan. I was already in ECW. I just happened to be doing ECW in Japan back and forth.
You had kind of a little trade agreement almost going on with them.
Yeah, I pretty much had a deal like Sabu did because he did a lot of time in Japan as well.
Huh, interesting. And how different is wrestling in Japan versus, let's say, ECW or anywhere else in the States?
Japan's a totally different style. I call it strong style. So, if you're going to do, and honestly, if you're going to do a 45-minute match, there's no gaga in that match. You're doing 45 minutes. It's not like here where you could waste 5-10 minutes taking your gimmicks off and working the crowd. And they don't want to hear that. They want to see a fight in Japan. So that's how it is there. It's different. And it's silence until you do something to make them pop. They just don't pop for an arm drag. They take it seriously there.
Huh.
More high action.
Yeah, and no punches. It's more forearms to the face, and it's snug.
One of the things that probably influenced that a lot, and influenced our style today, is Gary started out when he was going to New Zealand, and he was wrestling against the British Bulldogs. Him and his partner. Those are some interesting stories. If you ever get a chance to ask him about it and pick his brain about it, pretty interesting stories.
Yeah, I was going to say now's a pretty good time, right?
Yeah, that was actually he came up with a good point. That was actually when we first started touring. New Zealand was the first place we went, and we wrestled. It was the American Pitbulls versus the British Bulldogs. It was the first time I've ever left the country. I never left Jersey, not alone get out the United States and go all the way around the world. But that became that was more than once. Don Morocco loved us. King Curtis, God rest his soul, he loved us. And what happened was he said, you guys come back. So we worked the British Bulldogs. We worked the Guerrero brothers, Chavo and Mondo. That's Eddie's and Rey Mysterio's uncle or Eddie's dad. Then we wrestled the Bushwhackers. We sold out a 55,000 seat stadium, the Olympic Stadium in New Zealand.
Wow.
So, and that was the first time we ever been on tour. So imagine two young guys coming out of the Monster Factory. I've never seen a crowd so big. And I did work for Vince. This was 55,000 people. So it was like, to me, it was a shock.
Well, I mean, in that time, this is what, maybe around 80 or late 80s, early 90s, I guess?
Yes.
I mean, by that point, Vince, the only real big crowd he had by that point was, I guess, Mania 6, and that was, 60-some-odd thousand in Toronto. But other than that, he was barely getting 13,000 at Trump Plaza the year before as far as WrestleMania. So, yeah, I can see how going from that to 55,000 in New Zealand.
It was a shock, but it was awesome. I could never take it back. Larry came with us. Larry was great. He had his whistles, and he sold a whole box load of whistles, and we had a great time. Got to remember, at that time, I'm going to New Zealand. It's 7-1 women. Okay, there's 7 women to 1 man. Who's not going to have a good time? So I had a great time. You know
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm a legend in New Zealand. They know. You mentioned the Pitbulls in Australia and New Zealand, and I'm sure my number's somewhere in one of them strip clubs. You know what I mean? I'm sure my name's out there. You know what I mean?
With 30 kids.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I haven't had any calls lately, so I'm knocking on wood. I figured I would have had some calls by now, so I think I'm out of the.
It's past 18 years. He doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I'm all good now, man. So.
I didn't know it was this kind of show.
Hey, you want to talk about wrestling, brother? You better be.
Yeah, exactly. You got to expect the unexpected.
Yeah, I don't even want to. If that's the case, I can't even tell you stories in New Zealand.
Okay. Better move on before I get kicked off the air then.
No, it was a good time because, like I said, it was funny because I'll give you one story. It's the clean story.
Okay.
But we were, we were kids. It's the first time I ever been to New Zealand wrestling for anything. So, of course, I'm gonna get on the phone and call anybody and everybody I can, and they'll be like, "Where you at?" I'm like, "I'm in New Zealand." The water, when you flush the toilet, it goes the opposite way. It's great. I thought it was the best time. I made sure I called everybody to tell them because they're all stuck where they are. And I decided, you know what, I'm gonna try out to be a wrestler. Cory knows, you got to take that chance. And if you get lucky, you get lucky. And I got lucky at the time, and our gimmick was over, and I had a blast. And like I said, I just remember Don Morocco running down the hall, chasing me and my partner, screaming at us. He's like, "You blanking pit bulls, you're grabbing all the girls, and I got a $960 phone bill. Who's going to pay this?"
that was just the question I was going to ask, is who's getting stuck with this long-distance phone bill?
So, I got to give it all up to Don Morocco, brother. He came up and said, "Listen, guys, I know it's your first tour. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to pay the bill for you, but don't let it happen again." And we were, very fortunate, and it never happened again.
Gary,
there you go. You got it out of your system once.
Were you 19 years old, something like that? You were just a kid at the time.
Yeah, I was pretty young.
It's got to be the life right there.
I was young.
I'm going to New Zealand.
Lucas, the intern, saying, "I'm going to New Zealand." I don't know if the ratio is the same now. You may have to do some research.
Australia is really, really nice.
Still,
it's beautiful there. It's beautiful.
I wouldn't want to go surfing, but I definitely want to. I'm a big sightseer when it comes to that. So.
You want to go sightseeing instead? Well, I can only imagine the sights you're trying to see.
Go to Melbourne. You got about 300 girls in a club at a time, bro. You'll have a good time.
He's got
somewhere at home. Lucas's mom is just head in hand right now, going, "What kind of education is this kid getting?"
Oh yeah, they listen. My parents listen to the show, so just.
I know this may be the last time you hear from
Mom,
Lucas the intern on the show.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Just don't.
Yeah, don't take pay no never minds to anything that's going on here. Here you go. Get yourself out of trouble. Take care of the phones or something. I don't even know. All right, let's take care of our second bit of business. We'll come back. Big announcement involving Wrestling with Disaster. We'll get to the. We'll get to the phones as well. We'll see if I'm still on the air at this point with all the trouble I'm getting into. I'm sure maybe that wasn't Merrill on the phone, was it? No, that wasn't Merrill. Okay.
I hope not. Because the line was like a dead.
Oh dear. He might be on his way over here. All right, we better take care of some business. We'll come back. Fearon Derry here with Pro Wrestling Weekly, along with Lucas the Intern, Cory Kastle, Anthony Bruno of Wrestling with Disaster, Pitbull 1, Gary Wolfe. It's a zoo here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, February 8. On this date in 1971, Pedro Morales pinned Ivan Koloff in Madison Square Garden to win the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. On this date in 1999, WCW Monday Nitro aired live from Buffalo, New York. In the featured matchup, Roddy Piper pinned Bret Hart to win the WCW United States Championship. On this date in 2009, TNA held its Against All Odds pay-per-view. In the main event, Sting defeated Brother Ray, Brother Devon, and Kurt Angle in a four-way match to retain the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. This has been Today in Wrestling History, February 8.
This is Jim the Anvil Neidhart of the Hart Foundation, and you're listening to Pro Wrestling Weekly with Fearon Derry on 1490 WBCB, baby. Yeah!
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside Lucas the Intern. We've got guests Cory Kastle, good friend of the show. Quickly becoming a good friend of the show, Anthony Bruno of Wrestling with Disaster fame, and hopefully soon to be a longtime friend of the show as well, Pitbull 1, Gary Wolfe. What's going on, guys? What's a good word?
Time here,
all right, I found out I'm not in trouble, in fact. That's a good thing.
Well, the show's not over yet.
Yeah, exactly. There's still 15 minutes or so.
Can we start a We Want Tables chant, please?
No. Off the air, maybe. You had your chance during the commercial breaks.
Yeah.
I mean,
you were telling other stories.
If you have a folding chair, I mean, he wants to get into the business. I could, give him a chair shot.
Give him a chair shot?
Just see how it is.
Hold on, get my bad. I don't have a good.
No, not to the head. No. No, unprotected chair shots have been banned for a while. That would be wrong.
Oh, I've done it on the radio before, man. Darn. It's okay. We'll save it for when you go to school. Don't worry about it.
Excellent story. What happened? An ECW legend killed me.
An ECW legend kid. Well, I was going to say, they just churn them out over at the Monster Factory.
No, they do.
Yeah, I've had the chance to go there a couple times now, and
I went to a show.
befriended a few of the guys there. I mean, I've talked with Larry Sharp, Danny Cage I've interviewed in the past, another show that I do. And, I'll give RC the plug. Completely Damaged Radio. He'll appreciate the mention.
Yeah, we've all been on Completely Damaged.
Yeah, just got to get some of the guys up here. That's the next step.
Yeah.
Well, with the Saturdays and booking, it's not necessarily as easy as it is during the week.
He's like Drew Carey. He's got two shows. It's like in 2001, Drew Carey, there was a joke he had two shows going on. That whole thing.
Does that mean I should have been in the Royal Rumble?
Lucas the Intern.
I'm gonna shut up.
You're going to give the kid a complex, guys.
I'm going to give him a suplex.
Lucas knows that I love him.
That was a good comeback. He's I told you the kid's sharp.
No, Lucas knows that I like him. We've seen each other for a while, a couple times now.
We kid because we love.
Yeah. I didn't say love.
Okay, I'm
Please
right.
let us go out to dinner first before you say that. Too far.
Oh, mercy. Let's go to the big announcement. Yes, the Wrestling with Disaster big announcement. Yes. How about that?
So,
I don't know. Do I got to build a drum roll up or something?
No.
This
whole show's been a drum roll, so let's just.
I thought that was a rim shot.
So as we stated before, we have we have 3 shoots left before we wrap the documentary as far as all of our shooting goes, and obviously one of those shoots is with our new narrator Andrew Bernarski. And then we have our final shoot for the documentary, which I'm going to actually hand it over to Gary here because he's going to discuss what we got going on for that. So,
all right. So what it comes down to is June 14th. Everybody mark it on their calendar if you're listening. June 14th, we're running an incredible, from top to bottom show. Okay, for all audiences. We're also going to be having a meet and greet that day from 4 to 6. You can come and meet all the wrestlers you want, get all the autographs that you can get. If you want to get them, feel free. Also that day, we're also having a boot camp that's going to be down there. Ladies, if you're listening, you can check that out. It's for all women. Has nothing to do with the wrestling. It's just that, we're going to be using the 2300 building, which is the old ECW Arena. And we're going to have it for the whole day, so we might as well do something during the day. So we're going to do a little boot camp from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then we're going to end up setting up set up the ring and get everything ready. And then from 4 to 6, we're going to do an autograph signing. And then we're going to follow it with an amazing show. I'm not going to get into details yet on who's on the show, but just imagine nobody's going to, I don't care who you are, what company you are, this is a Japanese American / awesome show that's lined up. I'm telling you, everybody I mentioned it to can't wait. They just can't wait to see it. It's going to be huge. And then afterwards, at the new arena, they're opening up a nightclub. There will be a sports bar there, and we're going to have a huge after party to celebrate. We're done shooting the film, and as far as, the show will be done. And I'm telling you, once you find out who's going to be on this show, you will be there. I don't care who you are. When you see the names and the guys that are on this, it's not only are you getting hardcore, you're getting veterans from ECW, you're getting veterans from WWF. I'm bringing people in from everywhere around the world to do this. And we're going out with a bang, and that's how we plan on doing it. It's got to be big, and this is what's going to be big.
Wow, I'm floored. Lucas is already texting Mom, can I please go?
I mean, it's hard for me to hold in the guys I have on this to share it, but I need to right now. But I'm just telling you, I don't care.
You got to hold them all in. You can't let one out.
I mean,
Gary Wolfe.
You got me. All right.
And I'm going to have a very interesting match, okay? This match has a lot of history. We were talking about it earlier, just to give a little...
Okay, there's a hint. All right.
A little hint there, but I'm just telling you now, I don't care who you are, what company you are, or who you work for, they're going to be scratching their heads when they see this show.
Yeah, absolutely. What we wanted to do was we really wanted to make sure our final shoot went out with a bang. And the team with Wrestling with Disaster, the three of us, and we've had a couple of others, helping us out on this, and we have really hit a home run with this one. We're so looking forward to this night, and we are going, we're starting early in the morning, and we're going all the way until, 2 o'clock a.m. if we have to, whatever it takes with the after party, everything. It's going to be a day to remember, that's for sure.
And that's Saturday, June 14th.
Saturday, June 14th, formerly ECW Arena, now under the name 2300 Arena. It's going to be an amazing, amazing night.
The final cut.
Yes.
That's the name of the show, the final cut.
Wrestling with Disaster presents the final cut. And that's the name of our show, and it's the last shoot of the documentary. So there's, even extra bonus for being there. You got your chance to be on the documentary if you come out. So it's going to be a big day.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot to bring that up. Thank you for bringing that up. I also want to tell the fans, look, once you come to this show, you're going to be in this documentary. So get out there. I want the crowd to be the most craziest crowd ever. I want them to chant everything they used to chant in ECW back in the day. I want these people to come in and say to themselves, wait a minute, I'm going to bring my kid because I want to let them experience what I experienced when I used to come to the arena. Everybody has a special bond and a moment when they were in that building where something happened and they want to share it and move it on, because I'm telling you, we're giving you what you used to have. And not many people can do that now. But we're going to do it, and we're going to make it happen.
See, I'm stoked because I never had that opportunity. I was a little too young to make it down to the arena. Yeah, the closest I got was a house show at the old Boomerang nightclub in Bensalem. Back maybe when I was Lucas's age. That's about it.
I've always wanted to go to the ECW.
So I've never been to the ECW Alhambra 2300 whatever arena.
Whatever you want to call it.
The 18 different names. It's now 2300 Arena. So I'm looking forward to the first and possibly last opportunity to do so for a wrestling show, especially one as big as this is going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be the biggest thing that we have going for us with the end of the year, or I'm sorry, with the end of the shoot here. Corey?
There are some major really improvements and updates coming to the WrestlingWithDisaster.com website, and all the information and updates, announcements for June 14th are going to be on that, as well as some amazing graphics, all done by Anthony Bruno.
Yeah. We are going through a full update on WrestlingWithDisaster.com. That will be should be done here within about 2 weeks tops. It's going to be completely made over. A lot of changes on the website, and you will be able to get all the information you need on Wrestling with Disaster Presents The Final Cut on our website at WrestlingWithDisaster.com, and also our Facebook.com/Wrestling with Disaster.
Wow, I'm thinking back and ahead at the same time to June 4th or 14th rather. I'm so flabbergasted. I'm stumbling over the date here.
Well, I just want people to understand. I mean,
I'm giddy.
I want you people to. I want all the fans to come out and treat it like it was back in the '90s, because pretty much that's what they're going to get, but better. And I want them to be as vocal. I want to hear everything from
the Camptown races. We'll leave it at that. To
you know
what
I'm saying? I mean, I want them to chant. I want the reason why ECW was exciting was because we brought the people that were in that crowd, and we brought them in the ring practically. We made them part of the show. So that's what we want out of this show. We want the fans to come there knowing they did their 40 hours of work that week, and they're going to come there and let off all the steam they want. I don't care what it is. But the more vocal and the more chants we get, I mean, that defies each match, and that's what people like to do.
And it's different than what you've seen a lot now on TV of the crowds kind of hijacking the WWE shows because they're disinterested with the product. I mean, this is something that's going to draw you in. The chants, they're creative and they're pointed at what's going on in the ring, as opposed to we're just chanting something random because we don't care about what's going on in the ring.
There was my soccer coach. I don't know if he's listening, but he used to always go down to the ECW Arena in the '90s, and he said there was something you could do. I don't know if this is true or not. This is just what I heard, but he said you could, like, in the crowd, you could put your order in for pizza, and they just pass the pizza around the crowd and stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, back in the heyday, you were allowed to bring anything, weapons, come in with weapons. They wanted you because they handed them to us. Yeah. I remember hitting guys in the head with frying pans all the time. One guy actually took his leg. He had a wooden leg, prosthetic leg. I wrapped that around somebody's head. I don't know who. I don't remember, but
they did that in the wrestling too.
That's because they copied.
They copied off of that.
Please.
The one that jumped out at me, I remember watching. I think it was one of the episodes of Hardcore TV, and somebody brought a Nintendo with them to the
keyboards.
Keyboards.
That keyboard would be in 1,000 pieces right now.
Yeah, computer keyboards. I, of course, at 15 didn't quite get it. I was telling Lucas the story, and when I went to that house show, I brought a pie tin with me because I was concerned for the wrestler's safety. So I had these like little collapsible. Shane Douglas, he grabbed it, he went to use it, saw that it didn't really do much of a damn thing, and just kind of tossed it aside.
Also, real quick, I wanted to plug, I mean, I'm not just a wrestler, I'm an entrepreneur. I came out with a new handbag line. It's called, it's under Wolf Striker Leather. It's the Pitbull line for ladies. I'm going to be coming out with clutches, with spike collar that goes around your wrist. And it's supposed to be for self-defense. So nowadays, women are having problems out there getting mugged. Nobody will be able to take your bag. I'm coming out with a shoe line, jewelry line, which will be out soon. So if anybody's out there listening, just look up wolfstriker.com. You can check that site out, and you'll see my line, or go to Pitbull 1 Gary Wolfe and on Facebook, and you can see the new line of handbags that are coming out. So it's something that most people didn't think I could do, but I've always had it in my mind. I just had to find somebody to make it, and now it's coming to foe, you know.
Yeah, Gary's going through a complete transformation here. He's going from hardcore extreme wrestler to designer to producer, film producer. He's going through it all right now, and we're excited. So
yeah, he's got.
Oh wow, I'm taking a look at this here. I'll have to upload this to the Facebook fan page, WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly. It is just that. It is it's a little clutch purse, and it's got. got almost like a purse strap attached to it, but it goes around the wrist, and it is a spiked collar that you can.
It says Pitbull right on the collar.
Pitbull, yeah, right. Put a letter in between each of the spikes.
That's real snakeskin, lambskin. Just so you know, once we start rolling with our product line, we'll be donating some proceeds to the Pitbull's rescue and stuff like that. So,
that's a beautiful thing.
That's my soft part of my heart. I care about dogs, so.
Oh, absolutely. I was going to say, I think we all do here.
Sure.
But
if we don't, we're not going to admit it now that Gary said that.
Just so
he'll be super bombing somebody after the show.
Yeah, you got a nice table here. It could work out pretty good.
Table in the bag.
But yeah, on the 14th, man, June 14th is the day. We got plenty of time to promote it. You guys are going to hear about it. And I'm sure we're going to be back, and we're going to let the cat out of the bag. And I'm sure if you check the website out soon, I'm sure my boy Ant's going to be putting some stuff out here and there and getting people ready and riled up for it.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. I'll be counting down the days.
Yeah, thank you for having us on to be able to talk about it. We appreciate it.
No problem. A couple of quick things to mention before I get out of here, because I know Dan Wing is waiting with high school basketball coming up. Our good friends over at George's Cards and Collectibles, they've got a lot of stuff going on, including 1 week from today, former WWE Divas champion Caitlin will be at the Oxford Valley Mall location in the Sears Court from noon to 3. A couple weeks after that, Saturday, March 1st, WWE Hall of Famer and ECW alumnus Mick Foley will be at George's Oxford Valley Mall from 11 to 2. And finally, on March 29th, former WWE superstar Rikishi will be at George's in the Oxford Valley Mall from 1 to 3. For tickets or more information, call 215-943-2475 or visit georgescollectibles.com.
Fearon, did you say Rikishi?
I did say Rikishi, yes.
Okay, just wondering.
That's too cool.
Holy hell.
We've hijacked your show.
I am. I'm tapping out. I'm done. That's it. All right. Thanks so much. High school basketball coming up here on BCB. Thanks again, Cory Kastle, Anthony Bruno, Pitbull 1, Gary Wolfe.
Thank you.
Lucas the Intern for contributing something. I'm not sure. Stay tuned. Dan Wing, he's got high school action for you here on 1490 WBCB.